What's up, YouTube? Happy Friday. It's a good day today. For those of us who have a weekend, celebrate, enjoy it. And for those of us who don't, get to work. I had a really good talk yesterday with a leadership coach and kind of a psychologist in a way. We spoke for an hour, and that will be out on the podcast. I'm super excited for that. But one key thing that I took away from that talk I had with her was there's no secret formula. And this is something I had to learn the hard way, because when I originally set out to be an entrepreneur and start a business, I had this thought like, okay, now that I'm doing this, I got to figure it out. There is a right way and a wrong way, and I need to find that as quickly as possible. And once I find that, I need to implement it as quickly as possible. And so I spent a lot of my time stressing about not knowing what that was, what the answer was, and then also going so hard about implementing, hey, this is the right way to do things. We have to do it this way. It must be done this way. It's black and white. There's only this way to do it. And the thing is, not only is that wrong from an operations standpoint, because there's a multitude of ways to get things done, it's also wrong from a mental health standpoint, because you're sitting there thinking that you need to have life figured out long before, well, I guess not even long before that matters, but even you need to have life figured out, and in reality, you're never going to have life figured out. I'm sure, I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm sure even people who are at the end of their careers or nearing the end of their life could attest to this, that there's no right or wrong way to live your life. There's no right or wrong way to do business, and there's no right or wrong way to have relationships with people, and that carries out to a multitude of things. So just for someone who's starting out, if you're kind of a hustler and you have high expectations for yourself, and you allow yourself to be put in that box of entrepreneur, you need to be very mindful of the fact that you're going to want to have the formula, and you're going to want to attain that as quickly as possible. And that's always up to you. That's always up to you. And the thing is, whether you think you got it or not, eventually all that's going to fall apart, because you're going to have an employee leave, you're going to have a client who's not interested, you're going to have someone who randomly comes across you and speak badly about you. Like, things are going to happen that are going to crumble that framework that you have in life about you having it figured out, and it's much, much easier and safer and I guess more like you're hedging yourself. I shouldn't even say it's safer, because of course this is not a safe venture, but you're hedging yourself when you go into it knowing like, hey, I don't know the answers and I'm here to figure it out. Meaning, like, I'm here to operate, and I'm here to make mistakes, and I know I'll make mistakes, and that's okay. That's part of the process. That's part of the journey towards success. I think that's huge, and it was a good reminder for me. I've done a much better job this time around on the entrepreneurship journey and in my mindset and all of that. But it's a really good reminder for those of us who struggle with, if you're, like, for me personally, as a kid, I was always arguing to find the right way. I was always arguing my viewpoint, and it wasn't for the sake of argument. It was for the sake of, I'm testing my ideas, and I'm a pretty firm believer in what I know. So see if you can prove me wrong, and then maybe I'll change. Obviously, as a kid, I didn't know very much, but I was very, very strong in my beliefs and my viewpoints, and As I'm getting older, that's becoming less and less so. I think that's a good thing, and this is a great example of that. So the principle, again, kind of ranting here, but the principle is there's no secret formula to success and to doing things the right way. There's no one method that's going to give you everything that you could ever want. So be fluid, flexible. Like Bruce Lee says, be like water. Water flows, and then if you put water in a box, it makes the shape of the box. So just be flexible in your environment and what's required of you each and every day, and go into each and every day. And I'll say this too, this was a really good point that I had from the talk, was what's next, not what's next this year, because that can get a little huge as someone who's an entrepreneur and has a lot of open ends and unknowns. Just what's next, like what's literally the next thing I need to do? Do I need to go get groceries? Like, how do I continue living? And if you can bring it down, if you're someone who's a very, very big thinker, a big idea person, if you can bring it down, it really helps you stay calm and just keep moving forward. And that's it, guys. Move forward. No, there's no secret formula. Take small steps at a time. You can go big picture, but if you need to, bring it down. What's the next step? So, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, go check out the podcast, West Michigan Business Podcast. We have 5 episodes up right now. I'm doing 2 per week, and there's some really, really good people on there, really amazing stories that are being shared, and really good pointers and tips and business principles, and also if you're an entrepreneur, how to start a business and things to look out for. I highly recommend it. Obviously, I'm a big part of that, so I have some bias there, but I think regardless, I think it's good for everyone to listen to. Whether you're a podcast listener or not, you should check it out. So, West Michigan Business Podcast, and thanks for watching the video today, guys. I really appreciate it. I love you, and we'll see you in the next one on Monday. Peace out.